Hello one, hello all, welcome all my dear lovely family, friends, fellow Africans. It's my hope that you're okay, you are doing well. It's a pleasure to be with you again in this platform where we come together to share our thoughts about Africa's innovation, Africa's science, technologies, education, Africa's governance, and most important, to seek best solutions for our challenges. So, kings and queens, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, today let us go and look why the president of United States of America, Donald Trump, is much concerned about the land issue in South Africa. Why Trump is much concerned about the issue of the land in South Africa. And of course, we heard Trump promised to cut aid to South Africa as well as to sanction South Africa due to what Trump claimed that South Africa's government is treating white people badly. But Trump has decided to choose the side of white people without considering the black people who also have been suffering since apartheid till today. The justice for black people are not there in South Africa. So before moving too far, let us go and listen a little bit what the president of South Africa, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, said and told Donald Trump. Welcome and listen.
Over this question of the land, I don't know what Donald Trump has to do with South African land, because he's never been here. And he must keep his America, we will keep our South Africa. That is what he must do. South Africa is our land. South Africa belongs to all the people who live here in South Africa. It does not belong to Donald Trump. He can keep his America. And Ene is even worse. He's even worse. When I meet him, I will tell him. I'll say, you, Donald Trump, you are even worse because your forebears came to America. They found the native, the indigenous Americans. They wiped them out. They killed nearly all of them. Rine, we are living as a nation, and black and white, we are going to find solutions for our land question. So Donald Trump must leave us alone. He must leave us alone, Bauri. When we were facing apartheid, when we were facing oppression, he was not here. He did not fight side by side with us. And we were able, on our own, yes, with support of progressive forces in the world, to resolve the apartheid question. As far as I recall, Donald Trump was not around the negotiating table when we negotiated the end of apartheid. So stick around there in the White House. We will do our business here, and we will find solutions for our problems. So stay out of our issues, and we will not get involved in your issues in America. You have your own problems. Leave us alone.
Yes, that is Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa. Of course, he stood and telling Mr. Trump to stay away with South Africa's internal affairs. So I think that is exactly what Trump should be told, that keep your America. Africa will keep our own Africa as well as our issues. So don't interfere our issues, because even we are not interfering your issues. But yeah, before starting sharing my thoughts about this issue, let me ask you one thing. Why America stationed military base in Botswana near South Africa? What is the intention of America to put military base in Botswana that is near South Africa? And we know that in South Africa the own minority who are white people own 75% of the land. And we know in the land there's minerals, resources, agricultural potentials, water, wild animals, investment are in the land. And majority who are black people and colored own 25% of the land. And also, we have heard about white South Africans want to form their own country in uh, in South Africa. They want an independent country. You heard the issue of Olania. So, what is that? Who is behind all of those things? Do you think white people will accept to lose land, to give up minerals, to give up land, agricultural land? And if they will not accept, what they will do? They will fight. Who will be behind of them? Their fellow white people, like Trump. And that's why you see America has stationed US base in Botswana near South Africa. So, you know, Africans, we are so divided in such a way we cannot help each other. You remember when NATO invaded Libya, what Africa did? Nothing. You remember when Zimbabwe was punished by the Western power, sanctioned by Western power, what Africa did? Nothing. So the white people understand very well that Africa, we are divided, we are not united, so we can do nothing. And that's why you see Donald Trump can come out and speak without fear of anything, because they know Africans are divided, they can't do anything. Just imagine if we are so united. Let me ask you another issue. Just imagine if what happened to George Floyd was happened to South Africa. If George Floyd is a white South African, what America will do to South Africa? Have you tried to ask yourself such kind of thing? So, what I want to say here, Africans, to survive, it needs all of us to come together, to unite. Our unity is very important for us to survive. And if we are not careful, we are going to see South Africa going to be punished by the Western power, as well as being divided into two countries. The country that is owned by black people and the country that is owned by black people. And white people will remain in those areas where there is minerals, potential for agriculture, and good olive land, fertile land, and Africans will be pushed out to areas where there's no potentials. So take this. If we are not going to unite, we are going to suffer as the people of Africa. So let us continue. Kings and queens, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, let us look how the statement of Donald Trump is going to divide South Africans. Of course, as I said at the beginning, that Trump has decided to choose a side. He decided to choose the side of white South Africans instead of also considering the black South Africans. But all in all, how Trump is going, the statement of Trump is going to affect South Africa. Kings and queens, ladies and gentlemen, you remember last year in the Western Cape, where majorities are white people are living there, especially in the Olania. There's a demand for white South Africans to get independence, to seek independence, or to form their own country in Olania. You remember that issue. So by Trump interfering in the internal issues of South Africa, it means, and of course favoring white people, it means Trump is pushing and supporting white South Africans who are demanding their own country. who are in the process of getting their own country in South Africa. Of course, we know that the world is learned through the thing that we call divide and conquer. So, through division, it means I see in the near future, if we are not careful, and if Africa we are not united, South Africa is going to be divided into two countries. The country that's owned by white people and the country that will be owned by black people, majority. So why? Because this statement of power of countries like America is pushing those who have tried to demand independence or to form their own country and to feel that they are getting support. You see, they are getting support. So Trump, because of course you heard from Ramaphosa, Trump will not be happy with this statement of Ramaphosa. Automatically, Trump will respond. One of the things that he will do is not to fight South Africa, is to divide South Africans. Why Trump is much concerned with the land? We must understand that in the land there's minerals, in the land there's resources, agriculture is, you talk about the land, investment, you are talking about the land, wild animals, you talk about the land, you see, water is about the land. So Trump is much concerned with the land in South Africa because the land in South Africa are with minerals. So America is targeting the minerals that are in South Africa, not defending the white South Africans, no, because those who are there are working for the American companies. So Trump are focusing on the minerals that are found in South Africa. And of course, recently you heard about South Africa discovered high deposit of crude oil. So America is concerned about the minerals that are in South Africa. So they are trying to see that they are favoring white people so that white people can demand freedom to form their nation. Then the international community, because if you talk about the international community, you're talking about America and European countries, then they will say, give these countries or these people their freedom. The way they did it to Sudan, you remember that Sudan was divided into two parts, South Sudan and the current Sudan that is at war. You see? So even South Africa, if we are not careful at the people of Africa, we are not united, we are going to see South Africa going to be divided into two countries. And these people who are favoring the white people will process this issue. And that is how the statement of Donald Trump is going to affect South Africa. So America is not concerned about white South Africans. It is concerned about the land that have minerals, the land that have resources. So America's appetite is about resources. And you may ask yourself, why America positioned a military base in Botswana near South Africa? You know, these people are looking very far. When they stationed this military base in Botswana, we didn't recognize anything, we didn't understand anything, but these people are looking 100 years ahead. They know what they are doing. They didn't station military base in Botswana accidentally. So this military base in Botswana have purpose, and the target is South Africa, because they want to make sure that whites are continuing to control the means of productions and resources in South Africa. And that's why you find that almost 75% of the land of South Africa is owned by white minority and 25% owned by 25% owned by almost majority that are almost 80% of the population of South Africa. So just imagine if the minority can own almost 75% and majority own 25%. What does this mean? It means the whites are in control of South Africa. So if whites are controlling South Africa, they have relatives in Europe, they have relatives in America. So America and Europeans are not ready to see that Africans are going to have controls of the means of production. So they will try to do everything to protect the interest of the white people in South Africa. And those white people are working for their cousins who are in Europe and America. So, brothers and sisters, kings and queens, should be a wake-up call to all of us to unite, to come together. You know, today it is about South Africa, but we don't know who is the next tomorrow. We remember what happened to Zimbabwe, how Zimbabwe was suffered and sanctioned by America, Europe, because Zimbabwe decided to take back the land to the rightful owners. You see? Till today, Zimbabwe is under sanctions. Zimbabwe suffered because Africa, we didn't unite. Let me take you back to the issue of Libya. You remember that Libya sanctioned because Libya came with the idea of one Africa, United Africa, Africa with single currency, Africa processing their natural resources. So since then, Gaddafi created a lot of enemies. They say Gaddafi dictator, Gaddafi terroristic, Gaddafi sponsoring jihadists, that and that, those and those. At the end of the day, they removed Gaddafi from power. Today, Libya is not at ease. And through the conflict in Libya, there is a spread of terrorists to Sahel. Now you see countries in Sahel are suffering with the effect of Libya, war in Libya. That was created by those who had an appetite to Libyan oil. You see? So we should not accept the same mistake to repeat, because I see if we are not careful, of course these are just my thoughts, I'm trying to think, maybe I'm thinking poorly, but I see if we are not careful, we are going to see the Western power supporting white South Africans to form their own country. And if black people will reject the US base that are in Botswana, will be used to force Africans to accept. Because Africa, we are not united, first of all. So they will do the same they did to Gaddafi. Gaddafi was punished and our watch, and we did nothing. The same South Africa will be punished and we will not do nothing. The same Zimbabwe was punished. We did nothing. So Africans, we are so divided in such a way. When you find your fellow Africans being punished and being humiliated, you cannot do anything. That's the problem that we have. So this should be a wake-up call to all of us to see that when these people have much appetite to our resources, Donald Trump is not concerned about what is happening in South Africa. Of course, even if you ask South Africans, even those white who are living in South Africa, they are not treated badly. Instead, who are treated badly are Africans. We have seen xenophobic attack to our fellow brothers and sisters. No one is concerned about that. But you find people talking about white South Africans are being treated badly. That is not true. Trump is not concerned about George Floyd. What happened to George Floyd? Just imagine if George Floyd is a white man being treated like that in South Africa. What would happen? I think America has already sent troops to invade South Africa. So, kings and queens, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, we must understand ourselves. People of Africa, black people, even our leaders. You know, our leaders, sometimes they forgot that they have to do things that will help other generation. So coming together is not about maybe removing power to presidential power to someone or to politicians. Is to make sure that Africa is going to be strong. We want a strong Africa. You know, sometimes when you heard our leaders talking about the issue of unity, they don't They are not committed. When Africa we are going to have single army, no commitment. When Africa we are going to have single currency, no commitment. When Africa we are going to have one currency, one government, no commitment. We are talking about these small issues, Agenda 2063. What have we done to achieve Agenda 2063? We are talking about silence the guns. What have we done to silence the guns? Are we committed to make sure that we are going to silence the guns? But we are being used by the same people to divide us, to fight one another. Instead of silence the guns, we are being used to make the gun cry in the continent of Africa. So those are just my opinions, but all in all, my dear brothers and sisters, kings and queens, I know maybe have maybe low understanding about these issues, but all in all, I'm trying to add something, to share my thoughts from what I think. Maybe this can try to wake up or can create more people to think more about what I'm talking. But those are what I'm trying to see for the near future, that South Africa is going to be divided into two countries. And Trump, not only Trump, America, Europeans will support these countries or white South Africans to have their own country. And those areas that have white people are the areas that have rich in terms of natural resources. So Trump is not ready. All white people are not ready to see that the white people are going to lose minerals, resources, agricultural potentials, water. They are not ready. They will do everything. So Africa is a property for others, not for Africans. So we need to change those narratives. We need to make sure that we come together. And the solution of all of this is to come together. We should not tolerate this conflict, Rwanda, Burundi, whatever, Congo. Instead, we need to come together. I have been saying this many times. The day Africa will come together, the day the war in Congo will come to an end. Because Africans, we don't see each other as brothers. We see each other as enemies. We have already created in such a picture. So when Kagame seeing Tshisekedi, see him as enemy. The same to Tshisekedi, the same to Ramaphosa. It looks like each other are enemies, but we are Africans. We are Africans. We have no need for us to come to take harm, to take our brothers, our children, our sisters, our brothers to fight one another. Instead, we have to mobilize ourselves to protect one another. You have seen mercenaries who are in the Democratic Republic of Congo. What have we done as Africa? What African Union said about these mercenaries? So sometimes you can become tired, but you should not be tired. We have to address these challenges. The main issue is to encourage the unity of this continent. Wherever you are, whether in the diaspora, whether in the continent, let us unite. Starting with your fellow brothers and sisters who are near of you, your neighbors, unite with your neighbors. Let us start like that. I hope at the end of the day, even if it will take 50 years, but the things will come true. Our dreams will come true, that we have succeeded to unite this continent. Because our unity will make us strong, so that it will not be easy to those who want to manipulate us to manipulate us. So after that, let me say thank you. Have a nice time. I've spoken many things. Maybe have taken your time, but all in all, the aim is one, that we need a united Africa. We need to come together. We need to find solutions for our challenges. Have a nice time. See you next time. Bye bye.